The summer of 2025, the heat over the Taiwan Strait is suffocating. But what hangs in the air is not weather. It is war. On June 29th, Chinese warships and Coast Guard vessels surge into the strait, declaring a sudden security zone. All commercial traffic is halted. Cargo ships bound for Kaohsiung are forced to turn around. Taiwanese fishing boats vanish, seized and towed into Xiamen. Beijing announces to the world that the so-called blockade is nothing more than an inspection operation. But to Washington, Tokyo, and Taipei, the truth is obvious. This is the first move in a campaign to strangle Taiwan into submission. Within hours, the U.S. 7th Fleet raises readiness levels. In Yokosuka, Japan, sailors scramble aboard the USS Ronald Reagan. Carrier Strike Group 5 is ordered south into the Philippine Sea. The mission has one purpose: break the blockade, open a corridor for merchant shipping, and demonstrate that China will not control these waters unchallenged. The operation is given a name that says it all: Operation Iron Tide. On July 2nd, the first warning shot is fired. Chinese rocket forces launch a single DF-21D anti-ship ballistic missile, the infamous Carrier Killer. Its re-entry path ends just 60 kilometers from the Reagan strike group, slamming into the sea with the force of a meteor. For the sailors on deck, the shockwave rattles steel plates and hearts alike. The missile didn't hit them, but the message is crystal clear. Beijing is ready to target an American carrier. Aboard the destroyers USS Barry and USS Benfold, Aegis radars lock onto the sky, searching for follow-up launches. Combat information centers erupt in controlled chaos. Officers run intercept simulations, fingers hovering over the launch commands for SM-6 interceptors. Everyone knows what's at stake. One wrong call, and the first U.S.-China naval battle of the 21st century will begin here, in the summer heat of 2025. The political temperature rises just as fast as the military one. Beijing issues a statement. Any attempt to escort merchant ships into Taiwan will be treated as a violation of Chinese sovereignty. Washington responds that the United States will guarantee freedom of navigation by force if necessary. Tokyo and Canberra pledge support. And Taipei broadcasts a simple defiant message to its people: we will not surrender. For the world, it is a moment of eerie suspense. Merchant vessels are rerouting through the South China Sea. Insurance rates for shipping spike overnight. Stock markets tremble, but in the Philippine Sea, there is no hesitation. The Reagan strike group is underway, fighter squadrons armed, missile tubes loaded, escorts spread wide across the water. And in Beijing, the PLA Navy prepares its own counterstrike. Type 055 destroyers leave port. Diesel-attack submarines slip into the depths. Surveillance satellites pivot overhead. The stage is set for a confrontation unlike anything the Pacific has seen in 70 years. This is not just a contest over an island. It is the first full-scale test of whether the U.S. Navy can still dominate the Pacific, or whether China has built enough firepower to push America back. And this is only the beginning. If you want to follow every phase of this escalating conflict, from the first missile launches to the undersea duels yet to come, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell icon, and smash the like. Because this is Navy warfare, and here we take you inside the battles that could decide the future. By July 5th, the Taiwan Strait is no longer just a tense shipping lane, it is a combat zone. Chinese warships tighten their blockade, while American and Japanese destroyers push forward to escort the first civilian convoy toward Taiwan. Both sides know the next move won't come from the sea, it will come from the skies. At dawn, Chinese J-20 stealth fighters roar off runways along the Fujian coast. Their mission is simple: intimidate, intercept, and if necessary, destroy any aircraft trying to support the incoming American convoy. Each jet carries PL-15 long-range air-to-air missiles, designed specifically to kill targets before they ever get close. But the skies above the Philippine Sea are not empty. From the deck of USS America, Marine F-35Bs launch in quick succession, their lift fans and afterburners carving bright scars across the morning sky. Unlike the J-20, the F-35 is battle-tested, a stealth fighter with a full suite of sensors and data links connecting every plane, every ship, every missile in the American formation. The two formations streak toward each other over the strait, invisible to the naked eye, visible only as faint blips on radar. Somewhere above, Taiwan's own F-16Vs join the fight, armed with AIM-120D missiles. For Taiwanese pilots, this is more than combat. This is survival. Their homeland is on the line. At 0842, the first missile launches. A J-20 fires a PL-15 from beyond visual range, its rocket plume briefly betraying its position before disappearing back into the haze. In seconds, an F-35 responds, loosing an AIM-120D in return. Both sides break formation, diving, climbing, and twisting through the sky. The world's two most advanced stealth fighters are locked in their first real confrontation. Inside the cockpits, the pilots are not just flying. They are managing an electronic battlefield. Radar locks, missile warnings, sensor fusions flood their helmets with data. A pilot's survival depends on trusting the machine and reacting faster than the enemy. Every second is a duel of nerves and systems. Below them, the seas churn with activity. Aegis destroyers track every launch, feeding real-time targeting data back to the American fighters. On the Chinese side, land-based radar arrays sweep wide arcs across the sky, pushing information directly to J-20 squadrons. The air battle is no longer pilot versus pilot. It is network versus network, machine against machine. At 0857, a Taiwanese F-16V takes a missile hit. The jet explodes into fire, debris scattering into the ocean. It is the first casualty of the battle, and a brutal reminder of the stakes. Within minutes, two Chinese J-20s are downed by coordinated F-35 strikes, proving that American stealth and Allied integration can punch through Beijing's defenses. But losses cut both ways. A U.S. F-35B suffers a missile impact on its wing, limping back toward USS America trailing smoke. The pilot ejects just miles from the carrier deck, plucked from the sea by a waiting Seahawk helicopter. It is the first American pilot lost in the Taiwan War. By mid-morning, the skies are littered with contrails and burning wreckage. Dozens of missiles have been fired. The blockade is no longer just a show of force. It is a full-scale war. And the battle has only begun. Because beneath the waves, another fight is already unfolding. Chinese submarines have moved into attack positions. American Virginia-class subs are hunting them in return. The silent war under the ocean is about to explode into the open. If you're gripped by this unfolding conflict, make sure to hit that subscribe button, tap the bell icon, and smash the like right now. Because the next chapter of this war, the submarine duels beneath the strait, will decide which side controls the Pacific, and you don't want to miss it. By the second week of July 2025, the skies over the Taiwan Strait are filled with wreckage and contrails. The air war rages on, but another battle has already begun, one that the world cannot see. Beneath the waves, Chinese and American submarines stalk each other in silence, each hunting for the chance to strike first. The People's Liberation Army Navy has unleashed its Type 093 Shang-class nuclear attack submarines, and its more lethal cousin, the Type 094 Jin-class ballistic missile subs. Armed with torpedoes and JL-2 submarine-launched ballistic missiles, they slip out from Yulin Naval Base on Hainan, heading east into the contested waters. Their orders are clear: disrupt U.S. carrier strike groups, sink supply convoys, and remind Washington that every ship above them is a target. But waiting for them in the depths are America's Virginia-class attack submarines, the quietest hunters the Navy has ever built. With their advanced sonar, unmanned undersea drones, and Tomahawk missiles, they are designed for exactly this kind of war, stalking, ambushing, and killing enemy subs before they ever line up a shot. It is a duel that unfolds in total silence. At 300 feet below the surface, the ocean is black, cold, and crushing. A Virginia creeps forward on battery-silent running, its crew straining to pick up the faintest trace of a Chinese screw turning in the distance. In the sonar room, sailors listen not just for sounds, but for patterns, the mechanical heartbeat of a submarine. The first contact comes on July 9th. A Type 093 pings faintly on passive sonar. The Virginia captain makes his choice. Shadow, don't engage yet. For 2 hours, the American submarine tracks its prey, closing the distance meter by meter. Then the Chinese boat makes a fatal mistake, a brief engine surge, a noise spike. It is enough. Fire 1, Fire 2. Two Mark 48 torpedoes launch into the abyss. They leave trails of bubbles, invisible to anyone but the men in the sonar room. Moments later, the ocean erupts. The Type 093 is torn apart, sinking to the bottom with all hands. The crew of the Virginia feels only the rumble through steel, the sound of a kill in total darkness. But the victory is short-lived. Hours later, another Chinese sub retaliates. A Type 094. Jin launches a pair of U-6 torpedoes at the USS Barry, one of the destroyers escorting the Reagan carrier group. Aegis alarms scream, countermeasures deploy. One torpedo is decoyed, but the second slams into the destroyer's stern. The explosion rips through compartments, flooding engineering spaces. The Barry is crippled, smoke rising into the sky as helicopters rush to evacuate the wounded. It is the first U.S. warship struck in the conflict. The undersea war escalates further. P-8 Poseidon patrol aircraft sweep overhead, dropping sonobuoys into the water, painting a grid of detection across the strait. Drones equipped with dipping sonar prowl the surface. Every splash risks giving away a submarine's location. For the men below, it is a deadly chess game. Reveal yourself to strike, or stay hidden and risk being hunted. By July 12th, at least 2 more submarines are lost, one Chinese, one American. Neither side admits the truth, but satellite photos of oil slicks tell the story. The Taiwan Strait has become the most dangerous patch of ocean on Earth. And yet, this is only a fragment of the larger picture. Because while submarines duel in the black depths and fighters clash above, Beijing prepares its next move. A massive missile barrage aimed not just at Taiwan, but at the American fleet itself. If you want to see how this war escalates into its most dangerous phase, make sure to hit subscribe, tap the bell icon, and smash the like button right now. Because in the next episode, we enter the firestorm. China's missile strikes, America's counterattack, and the moment the Pacific comes within a heartbeat of all-out war. By mid-July 2025, the Taiwan conflict is burning on every front. Skies torn apart by dogfights, submarines locked in silent duels beneath the waves. And now, Beijing decides to unleash the next escalation, a storm of missiles. On July 14th, China's rocket force rolls its mobile launchers into position. From deep inland bases, rows of DF-26 ballistic missiles rise skyward. Known in the Pentagon as the Guam Killer, each missile can strike targets 3,000 miles away with a conventional or nuclear payload. Tonight, they are aimed at Taiwan and at the American fleet. At 2012 local time, the first volley erupts. Dozens of missiles arc over the horizon, their warheads splitting into maneuverable re-entry vehicles. Sirens wail in Taipei. Across the strait, Aegis destroyers lock on, launching waves of SM-3 interceptors. The night sky flashes with dozens of collisions, fireballs shredding the darkness as interceptors and warheads meet at hypersonic speed. But not every missile is stopped. Explosions hammer Taiwan's airfields. Runways crater. Aircraft shelters collapse. Civilian neighborhoods shake as shockwaves roll across the island. Offshore, one missile slams into the sea less than 15 miles from USS Ronald Reagan. The impact throws a wall of water high into the air, a violent warning that the carrier is in the crosshairs. The United States does not hesitate. Within hours, orders are transmitted from Pacific Command. Retaliate. From submerged Virginia-class submarines, Tomahawk cruise missiles erupt out of the sea, skimming the waves toward coastal radar sites and missile batteries. From R. Lee Burke destroyers, another wave launches, filling the night sky with roaring contrails. Precision strikes rip into Chinese launch facilities, knocking out dozens of launchers before they can reload. And then comes something new. Something Beijing did not expect to see this early in the conflict. For the first time in combat, the U.S. Air Force deploys the B-21 Raider. Taking off from Guam, the sleek flying wings vanish into the night, undetectable by radar. Hours later, they release precision-guided weapons over hardened Chinese command bunkers. By the time Beijing realizes what has happened, the Raiders are gone, already on their way back to base. The message is unmistakable. America is willing to escalate, and it has weapons China cannot yet counter. But the risk is now greater than ever. Satellite imagery shows both nations moving their nuclear forces to higher alert. Submarines carrying ballistic missiles disperse into the Pacific and South China Sea. Strategic bombers fuel up in Missouri and Xinjiang. The line between conventional war and nuclear exchange grows dangerously thin. For the sailors, pilots, and soldiers already fighting, this is no longer about deterrence. It is survival. Each missile interception, each dogfight, each submarine engagement could be the spark that tips the world into chaos. By July 20th, the casualty lists are staggering. Dozens of aircraft lost, multiple ships damaged, thousands of civilians displaced on Taiwan. The war has become a grinding test of willpower, and neither side is backing down. And yet, through the chaos, one truth emerges. This is not just a regional conflict. It is the first real test of whether the United States and China can fight a modern war without plunging the world into total destruction. Every move, every counterstrike, every escalation carries not just local consequences, but global ones. This is the face of 21st century great power conflict. A war of stealth bombers and hypersonic missiles, of drones and submarines, of decisions made in minutes that could echo for decades. If you've stayed with us through this entire simulation, then you understand what few dare to admit. The Pacific is no longer safe, and the balance of power is shifting before our eyes. To keep following these frontline scenarios, and to understand the weapons and strategies that could shape the wars of tomorrow, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and tap the bell icon right now. Because this isn't history. This is the future unfolding in real time. And here on Navy Warfare, we'll take you inside every battle that could decide it.